with the Hitler watercolors?
Wow. Yeah.
That's your thing.
Nice.
You have to answer that.
Yeah, I made it on purpose. Like, yeah, I'm coming from a graphic designer background, so with this thing, like you can think about having an artwork like a product of an advertisement sometimes, to emphasize the like the effect on the people sometimes, and you are thinking on easily thinking on the how to channel it, how to, you know, the curator has an idea, sometimes the artist illustrates the idea, like in the worst case, I think. And you are in this situation and you have to play with this thing, so maybe you are like reflect on too, like it was a invitation for an online exhibition, and the topic was like to deal with our past, like Hungary during the time of the Holocaust, or what was Hungary's role, like in it, to face the past, very ugly one, and like there are tendencies in Hungary nowadays where they try to overcome on these very ugly moments,
No, it's
not
like
really really dealing with it, but to
cover
fade
it
it
up,
and
like
cover it up. I wanted to say,
whitewashing. Or
yeah. Thank you for the word. And it was a little bit against, like this exhibition, how to deal with it as it was. Like, have the curator found some places in Budapest, which was really a highlight in that time for really horrible acts of like killing and stuff like that, but there is no any sign of that particular part of the city. There is no sign that something was happened
no
there.
place of remembrance or
Mhm.
nothing at all.
Mm-hmm. And this guy called Tamás Don collected some of these places and asked artists to reflect on these places. Like, and we found 3 of them really interesting. One of them is now a plaza,
A mall.
let's say. Yeah. There is no sign on the wall that this is a. Yeah, it was
That place used to be where they deported the Jews from to Birkenau or
Yeah.
Auschwitz.
So one of the Nazi leaders says the Holocaust wouldn't be so effective without the help of the Hungarian people, let's say. So it's really fucked up, and the like the national kind of idea, or like the government dealing with this topic, making sculptures of remembrance that we were just victims of that time. So it is really fucked up, and really a big work to do with. And yeah, about the aquarels, like as we know, like Hitler started his career,
As a painter.
wanted to be a painter, and he has like decent aquarels, like not so nice, but like kind okay. And I also had the skill to paint aquarels, and it was the idea to paint this part of the city, these buildings in the style of Hitler, like which are
The failed artist.
Mm-hmm. And I also used the signature of Hitler doing these aquarels. That was the idea. And there was a little description next to it, which is about telling the story about that place. So when you see it, first sight, it's a nice aquarelle of the city, some part of the city. The signature is kind of weird, what the fuck, and the description shows you the whole story.
Yeah, but you also had your own little thing for aquarelles, like we did before a series called Cute Little Aquarelles, and actually this was the third
it's
part of that series.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what were the earlier ones?
I think those were like sculptures from, the first one was like sculptures from the city, a little bit
touristic, the very typical touristic viewpoints of Budapest, with a little bit of trick on them, like a hero square without heroes, like just without the statues, just the columns, or like the Statue of Liberty without the statue, actually, like, or the Turul bird is starting to go away, like fly away. So little tricks. First sight, normal aquarelles of touristic. The size also is like a postcard, but at second sight, it gives you some critique of the national identity concept of being very proud of your nation, just in general, or and like basically.
But the funny thing is that not everybody noticed these little tricks on the pictures, and we actually had an invitation to do an exhibition, a small exhibition in a project room in Székesfehérvár of the DAC gallery, which is like a fancy, like modern art gallery in Székesfehérvár, a collection, a very nice collection of Hungarian artists. And we exhibited these aquarelles there, and at that time a new director came about to be there, who was really like from this MMA and Fidesz party, and like a really devoted asshole. And he came to see the exhibition.
He's the official filter for this scene, actually.
He,
like
he became,
they put him on the top of this hierarchical, like I mean the galleries, which were like independent in that time, and they wanted to centralize everything and put one guy to the top who can decide whether if this exhibition is okay or not, like censor.
And that was his first time there when we did this exhibition, and he didn't notice. He came and saw the aquarelles, and after that there was this article, because it was a big scandal afterwards when they realized what are those pictures about. And the guy said in an interview that he tried to correct himself. How could this happen, that he allowed this kind of exhibition? And he just started to speak about those are very bad quality paintings or whatever. I mean, like, it was so fucking stupid, but he didn't realize what are those pictures about.
Yeah,
so
that we are using these kind of tricks, let's say, sometimes very easy tricks, actually, but this Trojan horse kind of effect sometimes can work, sometimes not. Yeah, it's a game, actually.
So it seems like this watercolor concept started, and then with the Holocaust show, it found its ultimate representation or function.
Yeah.
I think
look at it more specialized in the topic. Like it found its place, and it sounds. Like it's like a conceptual work. It could be anything else. Like I mean, in medium, but it's nice contrast that dealing with nice quality of like academic kind of way of painting, and with a concept behind. In that time, we were very focusing on these kind of problems, more like political and social aspect of dealing with art or dealing with everyday life here. But somehow we started to live a little bit lost in the conversation, having feeling that we having no effect, and it was more and more struggling. And when you feel that you are just reacting on things which are happening more and more absurdly, and it is not really enough to just react on, because when you react on something, it means also that you are following somebody or something which is leading you in the process. So there is the artist and somebody always telling what to reflect on. And I think art is more and more deep than that. And we were struggling to find the state of mind when we can act, like we can start, we can have the starting point also. Yeah, and for that we had to dig inside very much, like we had to face this taboo of being in a
crisis.
Yeah, in a crisis, like as an artist, like we didn't wanted to continue this process. So we were thinking on having a project dealing with this crisis, also having couple therapy to find out what are those things which are really into more personal, what can have the basic of our artistic practice in the future. And it helped a lot, actually. It was not about making new products, but to really to have information from ourselves, like face to our past and face to our future, and like becoming from a very responsible nature, like artist, you know, like dealing with social problems, and we wanted to become a child again, with a playground around, like where it is not a struggling to play with any kind of medium and any kind of topics, and what can be more personal, what is not to take responsible for the whole nation or something like that, like these crazy things, but like what about us personally, just a new starting point.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that the emphasis on moral themes and morality was an avoidance tactic for facing your inner conflict of the duo? Maybe you can just say you were working together as in a romantic relationship, partnership, and then that kind of changed.
Yeah, but it's that's also, yes, very important, but also there is this thing that you want to really bizonyítani, prove that you are a good artist, you are a responsible artist, you have those kind of topics,
very serious one,
and you have those kind of skills that are required to be taken seriously as an artist, you know. And I think we got stuck in this thing that we have to prove always ourselves that we are okay, we are good, we are, you know, aware and bright, and you know, and that took a lot of energy, actually, and I don't really know why we did that. And maybe it was because our career started out with a project which was very like
cheeky.
Yes, and also it became very well known. Like when I sold my student loan debt in a form of a painting, and it reached many levels of social discourse. So it was also in the like tabloid magazines and stuff like that, and also they were talking about it in the professional art scene, but the professional art scene didn't really like it because it was too cheesy and too, I don't know,
Too nice story
seems,
to be true.
yeah, it seemed like a scheme. So it came out that kind of we are schemers or something like that in the beginning, at the very beginning, like when we started to work together as Borsos Lőrinc in 2008-9. That was our first project, and we became very quickly known because of this project. Here, just in Budapest, just in Hungary, okay. So I think we we tried to work with it, and this is why we tried to prove ourselves all the time afterwards for years that no, we are serious artists. That was just one thing that we could do, but we can do a lot of things. And during this time or after a few years, we had to realize that it's also having an effect on our relationship, as you mentioned before. Like, yeah, we had to,
like all the time together, like working all the time. You never know when you are resting and when you are working. It was so random, like it is eating up your relationship, really. Like it was the price for it somehow. We chose to work together in the first place, like to have this idea of the ideal collaboration when you are not just working somebody for a while, but when you really like to get to know to each other, like in every kind of
your
level.
life, like it's
like how to have the art in your life and how to have your life in the art, like no borders. And it was like this, like.
So which came first, making work together or making love?
Making work together, I think.
Yeah.
Like
Or
get inspired by each other. Like it was first, it was like that in the situation.
I mean, in the story,
collegium.
when it began, when your story together begins.
well, our story didn't begin with working together.
No.
Our story,
Like working beside, like or not.
like both of us were in the academy. I was just first year, or I wasn't even. I was just like going to these courses before, and we knew each other from before also because we've been in the same high school. So, but I think love was the first thing that came because we didn't work together. And after we got together, we like immediately, like you had already like formed the corporation called the art group, and I was also around all the time, and I was always part of it in a way. So we were always doing something. Like events or like festivals or like working for dance, contemporary dance plays or things like that. So it was always mixed. Like we've been in it together since the beginning, but that wasn't the reason why we came together.
Okay.
But it really defined our relationship very much, I think.
And can you describe that first project that ended up in tabloids and things?
Yeah, well, so there is this student loan that it's not so much money, but you could take it while the university was on, and I took it and for 2 years, and when I finished the university, I realized, okay, well, fuck, I have to pay it back. And I realized also that I just spent it on like shit, like whatever, and my parents didn't know about it. So, and then I was trying to figure out a way to, cut this thing short, because I realized that I'm paying like the minimum thing that you have to pay, and I will like end up like all my life in this debt, and I cannot pay it back. So. We were thinking about it, and we came up with this very old idea that you could make a painting like Duchamp made like this tongue check, paying with this painted like big check for his dental something, and yeah, we should make a painting with only like the amount, like the numbers on the picture, but there was this
white
little
background, the big pictures, but just a little number on it. Like big picture means big picture, like
2
big money,
meters.
but we didn't wanted to prove anything. Like we can like buy it because we are super nice, but buy it that we are super cheeky or something
Yeah,
like
yeah, but I also came up with the idea of having all the different numbers like being symbolical in a way, so they were all representing something from that period of time when I took the loan. So
how they were like painted, like the numbers by themselves had different kind of material, the quality, like
or depicting something inside the number, like LSD stamps, or like or black, or like
trash.
from my writings, something you could see, and so it was very symbolic. Also, it was kind of like a confession that okay, I just took this money and spent it on partying and drugs and whatever. And then Jano came up with the idea. Okay, we had the picture, the painting, and it was nice, but it didn't really go nowhere because, you know, I was just like very young and coming out of the university. Nobody really knew me or us, and you know, like the best thing would be if some collector or somebody would buy it, and like the whole thing just, you know, reaches its goal. And I had no idea how to do that, and Jano came up with this very like commercial or like what kind of idea that we should write a letter to the director of the student loan company or whatever, and maybe they could take in the picture and in exchange just leave my debt go. And and it seemed so fucking absurd that this could happen. Of course no, but we did write that letter with Jano, and somehow, like it was a miracle, it really reached the actual director of the company.
He said he has a like part of the organization who just have this official kind of letter sending back to those people who are try to like have some ideas of not to pay, but like in exchange in like potato or whatever, I don't know, like big amount, I don't know. But he refused to send the official letter, and he kept it for himself, and he wrote back us a letter, hey, like if we are an official kind of company, we cannot buy this thing in exchange, but why don't you come for a tea and talk a bit? So we had the painting, went to the office, and then there was the guy, and there was an like art profession woman also, and we started to talk about it, if we gonna have an exhibition and they can help, like put a little bit of a symbolic investment to have a nice show. So we started to work on a show, and during that time, because Lilla won a prize before, Strabag prize, painting prize here in Budapest. We didn't know that, but the Strabag went away from Hungary, and but Esterházy Foundation came into Hungary to make a new prize, and they
started to collect also from young artists.
Yeah. First made the collection, and then they made the prize here also, like every 2 years.
So they came also to our studio, this Esterházy Foundation guy, and well, I showed him my older works and stuff, and like there was this painting, and he asked about it, and we told him the story, and that we are in this process of making an exhibition about this topic, and it's going to be exhibited there, with other kinds of stuff as well. And he was such a crazy guy that he said, "Hey, I have an idea."
What's about the opening? If you have an idea, and the guy said, "Well, I have an idea. What about like I giving you the money, like buying the thing on the exhibition opening?" And we were like, "What the fuck? Really? You really said that?" And after, please, can you write it down, like, as soon as possible?
So then it happened. They bought the. I mean, like they paid my loan back, and they got the painting.
It was before the opening, so like 2 months of struggling that it really gonna happen or not. And we had the letter, but it was very slow process. But we didn't say anybody that it is under construction and it gonna happen, like no friends, no others, because we wanted to like have the explosion on the opening, and it happened like that. Actually, newspaper came and like they got this story everywhere very soon.
And we were the assholes, you know, of like for everybody, because you know you would envy also this kind of like shortcut. Like who wouldn't?
Yeah, you can. There is one person who can do it. Nobody other.
So it cannot be a recipe, although it was a recipe, because back in like during the whole like art history, there were like many things.
It was also part of the exhibition that we collected those kind of projects from the art history. There was one room just for them. Okay. Like not just Duchamp, but there is Andy Warhol, or there are aspects of Christo, how he collects the money for the big installations, or there is the $1 million web page also, right. Or have the story with the student loan debt and others, which were really inspiring us how to do something.
So the show was centered around the story.
Yeah, actually, yes.
And you said he paid your student loan, so he didn't give you the money.
No.
So he was smart, because he saw what you did with the loan.
Yes, exactly.
But you know, like when we made the number, we had to think in advance when we will sell it, you know, what would be the amount. So it was like the
exact amount.
No. I mean, it wasn't the exact, because it was like we counted somehow, so it was a symbolic amount, and somehow we made it like 20,000 forint. What was
the difference?
The difference, and we could have 20,000 forints at the end. So I think to think it in advance in 1 year, what would be the exact, and you just making 20,000 forint difference, I think it's super good. I don't know. I cannot understand, because we are not doing numbers super nice. Like
it was 789,292 forints. I think that was the number on the. But maybe I'm not correct. I don't remember. Yeah. It was a long time ago. It was more than 10 years ago.
And is that painting in a private collection, or has it been donated?
No, it's a Esterházy collection.
Oh, right, their foundation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, after that, we won the prize also, the Esterházy prize.
Damn.
So, kind of weird, but
we started very good, actually. Like as a young Hungarian artist can do, but internationally it doesn't mean anything really. And like you have to face that Hungary is a very weird country in that sense. Like not really part of the international network.
Or at that time, I mean, it's changing.
It's changing, and the Orban era also put it back in the like dark Middle Ages. So yeah, interesting.
Circling back to the couple therapy discussion, you made an artwork out of that. Has that artwork ever been seen?
Which one?
The couple therapy video.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We exhibited it a few times. Of course, after
Even in Berlin, 2 times in Budapest.
Maybe just say what it is.
Mhm.
yeah, it's well, we were involved in this self-critical portrait project. So we initiated this project in 2013, which was about this examination, yes, and it was a very experimental project. We didn't really know what will the outcome be.
3 years long.
3-year-long process, and there was a painter friend of ours involved, and also a couple therapy sessions involved. And we
There was
also
a curator,
worked with
art
a
historian
curator.
who worked like an anthropologist, like try to have the core, like from time to time, how to have the line.
And the main topic, which was the base of it, was the crisis, like personal crisis, artistic crisis, and crisis in general, financial crisis, whatever. And also this painter friend of ours, Gábor Szenteleki, he was also in his own crisis, in his own painterly crisis, and he was from time to time painting paintings about Borsos Lőrinc, like imaginary things about this persona, and at that time we were doing this couple therapy, which was like every 2 weeks for 1.5 years, and we had to find therapists who were willing to go into this project, that we were gonna make this somehow public. So what happens on the therapy sessions, it's gonna go out in a way that we didn't know at that time what it's gonna be like, and they agreed with us, like that we're gonna be documenting all the sessions. So there was also a camera present on every session, and so we recorded all the sessions. And at first they were a little bit like not so sure about it, that it's gonna work or not, like we can take it seriously if we know in advance that it's gonna go out public. But after a while we kind of forgot the camera, we forgot the whole project in a way, and we really went into therapy like seriously. So it was good. They were like very good therapists, I think, and after 1.5 years we came to somehow, we reached an end, and then we decided to use these recordings, but not the whole material.
The question was how to deal with such big amount of material, and they didn't wanted us to put it in another person who are not really into the whole process, to have a director for it who making a film out of it. They wanted us to make it by our own, and it wasn't so easy to get back to these movies. Like,
we didn't really want to watch ourselves again, and they didn't recommend it neither. Like, you shouldn't watch it. And that, like, how do you make a video work about something that you cannot watch, and you don't know how, like, what to do with it? So it was a really big
and then our aim
challenge
was to have our portrait coming out of it,
like an objective.
Kind of objective, which is not about like putting together the hard moments or showing a nice face of us, or like or focusing on this thing or that thing, but how to have something objective, what we can learn out, like learn from. Like, we really wanted to see our like portrait, like we really wanted to work with it.
So like randomness was the main idea. So we used like there were 25 1.5 hour long video recordings, and each of them we cut by choosing random numbers, which meant the length and the position from where it takes out a little sample of that video. So we had, like, for example, from one video like 10 seconds, and from the other one 1 minute, and from very different
or 5
positions.
minutes. Yeah.
Or 5 minutes.
At the end, it was like half an hour video from the whole. Yeah.
And it was just like put one after the other.
Of course, like we before these sessions, we wrote the information that this is the session was held. That time, these persons were there, like one couple therapist, a woman, a guy, and actually a supervisor always
was present on the sessions. So that's how we had like a 25-minute long video out of the whole material.
And it was really like frightening for how to say, like I was really afraid what I would see, because in the sessions it's super intimate, you know, like I wanted to use these sessions to speak out all my fears or all my very intimate parts, which I really feel shame of, like using it like as a tool to trigger ourselves from the way where we are kind of locked, like if it is a loop on a vinyl, like how to like
push the needle
away to start a new circle.
Yeah, and also we talked a lot about our families, you know, father issues, mother issues, and also that was really hard, like it became public, you know, and actually it was nice because many people could relate to it, of course.
But I have to say just one second that, like, after all, the video and the randomness, like the portrait, what we could have, it was super gentle. It was super gentle how it became, like just some
so
parts.
So you watched it?
Of course, like
the 25-minute long, of course that we watched
many times, of course, and it became like super gentle. So the randomness was very gentle to us. Let's say it could be whatever, super hard also.
Yeah, we are actually thinking on doing like also new versions, or it would be nice actually to have all the time, if anybody watches it, everybody has a different version.
Yeah,
so
to make a random generator kind of selector.
So if you step in the room, that random selector is selecting like a totally new selection for you, for example.
Nobody could see the same. There are other ideas also, like we can develop, but this thing also work how it is, like a little bit showing to the conversations, and it has a dramaturgy, of course, like also like have a space for the imagination to finish the sentences in it. And when we show it first time in a flat gallery, really kind of situation, in a really the same situation when the therapy was like.
So and the environment was very similar to the one, like the space itself. It had like these all the furnitures, like this couch, and also like the what is it? Carpets, and so it was very similar, and it was like a darkened room, and the projection was on the wall, like kind of like blurry on the side. So it was like a little bit like a voyeur situation. And
when people came, like we let them go into the room, like just a few people could be in the room at one time, and after we have nice conversations, like they felt like they got something very intimate, and they felt like they also have to share something in exchange. So it was a super nice intimate conversation after it. So I think it was really important to present somehow in the space around.
And it was really important that we were also there. So I mean, like in the other room, we were there, and when they came out, they had a chance to talk with us if they wanted. and sometimes we had like hour-long conversations afterwards with random people who we didn't know before, and yeah, it was. But for some people, it was too intimate, and they didn't really want to watch it, or they just spent like 1 minute there and like, okay, no, thank you. So it's, of course,
one collector, for example, said he don't want to watch it really. He had conversation and saw the other works, and it's funny that after a while, this collector wanted to buy something from us, and it came out that he would like to buy this only, actually.
But it never happened, so
like it is under construction. Like
yeah, maybe we need to make his own version.
Well, it's funny, actually.
He wanted to get to know us first. He said, I don't want to, you know, it's like laying in your bed with you. I don't want to do that. I don't know you. I have to know you first. So we are still in that process of knowing getting to know each other.
Huh.
Can I have one cigarette?
Yeah, I have to pause. The time went so fast.
Oh shit.